Welcome to the party. It is pretty hilarious the kind of weather we're dealing with out here. It's been very warm all day. There's just sheets of water all across the lake. I'd wear super high rubber boots and ice cleats, and I was able to manage my way out here. I was watching my neighbor who had this orange pop-up hut set up not so far from here. In the morning it was half blown away, and then by the afternoon it was blown away. It actually didn't go too far from where I walked out though, so maybe, yeah, it's actually quite close to shore, so hopefully the guy who lost it will be able to find it pretty easily. I know this is a bit of a wild angle here, because I sort of have it set up so I can look in the hole. But what's kind of funny is on one side, in one hole here I've got, the people with this permanent hut, they had all these, boards and stuff. They're supposed to keep the wind from blowing underneath the hut, and those are all gone. I'm not sure what happened. I guess everything melted there and they washed away a little bit. So there's just a pure breeze shooting right under one of my holes here where I have my dead stick. So it's going to get a lot of action, I guess, on the lure, I hope, And then on the other side, I've got throwing down a vibrato, a very small one right now, pink. About to get that in there. I tell you, looking outside, there's like a darkness coming my way from the south. So I don't know, I don't know if it's snow or whatnot, but it's definitely, covering the horizon, and it's very dark. So I guess we'll see what happens. So I'm going to have a seat here. I'm not going to turn on the heater because I don't feel like it's necessary. I'm going to have a seat. I'm going to start fishing, Yeah, okay. Sorry, it's going to be a little rough for a second. So here we have hole number one, dead stick. I'm using the Masuda medium light rod. Like I said, I'm not really much of a light rod kind of guy. I kind of like my medium heavies for everything, but I've been playing with this. You can definitely see how things are different, a little more sensitive on the bite. Takes a little more juice to set the hook because it's got a pretty soft backbone. Very light, very well balanced. I got myself another Pfluger reel, but I wasn't willing to shell out all the way up to the President model. So this one is the Pfluger Monarch. I think it was about 40 bucks. So we'll see how it works. And then that crazy yellow line on there was all Trader Joe had left as far as ice line was concerned. So I was like, I'll take it. So bright yellow. Of course, I got a fluorocarbon leader on there, as I often do. So I'm going to start looking at the messages in a second. Just going to muck around with this thing for a second here. Get the brightness down. Let's see. Hopefully that's clear enough for you guys. Let's see. All right. So throwing down this pink vibrato there. This is the smallest one they make, I believe. Now on this side, I'm going to be jigging with my left hand, which is not the way I usually fish. But because of the prevailing wind conditions, I decided to have my jigging hand be the one on the hole that's not getting all the wind blowing underneath it. All right, checking the messages now, so I apologize if I missed a bunch. Thanks a lot, Kyle. I hope I catch a hog too. Yeah, Struckus, I was gonna go out in my flip hut and get further out than I am here, but I knew it just wouldn't fly, or pardon me, it would fly away with me in it. So I'm in the permanent hut tonight. Oh, did I just get a top? Could have been the wind, could have been the wind. JM, Epic on the way, you know it. You know, I heard word from my neighbors, I was talking to them, and they told me the fish bite at 7. And I was like, what? That's like, I guess that's, 40 minutes after sunset. So, here I have been going 40 minutes before sunset and 20 minutes after. Where are you going to be setting up there, Mimico Kush? Say you're going to be up here tomorrow night. Russell, as I was walking out, my sled was blowing to the side of me, and I was anchoring it from flying away. But it probably would have looked pretty funny for anybody watching me walk out here, because it just would have been blown right off me if I wasn't holding it. Yeah, Ken, it was quite the challenge getting out here. There was a lot of wind blowing directly in my face, but I kind of like that, especially when it's warm and not -30. Thanks, LT Sam. I'm sure I'll be safe enough as long as it doesn't get into some sort of crazy ice tornado out here. How's it going, Mr. Freeze? Steve Wagner, thanks for the good luck. Brad Croft, nice to see you again, buddy. Yeah, I'm hoping to hook into a beauty as well. I will be fishing a little bit over the next couple days, I hope, because these are the last days of the season, and my goal before the end of the season is to get my little 1.5-year-old boy there to reel in his own fish. Almost did it yesterday on a perch. The perch hit a dead stick, and my wife and I tried to line up going so that he could reel it in, but I think he was just sort of so excited by what was going on, he forgot about the reeling in part. So I sort of had to do that for him. Yeah, Gary, whatever that darkness is, it's pretty crazy. I'm sure it's going to hit at one point. I did see on the weather report that it was supposed to be like snow and rain. And if it's snow, that sort of makes sense why it's blocking out the landscape, so I guess we'll see what happens here. How's it going, New Carlisle? I've been thinking about those stripers you were talking about last week and watching a few videos on people catching them. And so far the clouds are dark and thick. WH, thanks for the good luck. Dave Parent, severe thunderstorms, eh? Down in TO. Skivens, nice to see you, pal. We are fishing at 16 feet of water. I guess that's about 16 feet below the ice. So there's a couple feet of ice here. Plus 17 in Cornwall. Jeez. Yeah, I had that spring breeze blowing in my face today, and I was watching my boy there play around in the muck, and I'm like, you know what? I guess spring's all right. I'll relent on winter for a few months until it's back. Then I'll be a happy guy again. But, spring, there are some sweet ass things I'm looking forward to. I actually took up archery when I moved to North Bay, so I'm looking forward to getting up to some of that. And I made a video called Archery on the Ice, and that features myself shooting a bow on the ice. It's something I like to do once the season's done. I also sometimes like to go for a walk all the way to the islands and back. It's a bit of a stroll, but it's pretty sweet. LT Sam, glad you like your Striker 4. I'm liking mine a lot, although when we discovered last week that the Striker 4 can't have maps loaded onto it, I was a little bit bummed about that, because that would have been cool. But you do get a lot of value out of that small unit, I tell you. Yeah, you're right. Well, I guess, Steve, I could have worse luck than last week if I got my leg like stuck in a hole or something like that. That'd be even worse. It's like catch nothing and get severely injured. Yeah, I did want to go deeper with the hut. My flip up, but this wind would not make that happen, that's for sure. So the permanent hut is in 16 feet of water here, Russell. Welcome to the party, Richard. What depth were you fishing at where you were getting skunked? I'm wondering where the fish are, what they're doing. Because I haven't seen many here either. Nick Bruce, I have heavily considered going fishing on Bernard Lake. Last year, I was like, once the season's done, I'm going to Bernard Lake, and I'm going to try to catch whiteys and Lakers there. I think the season's still open there for a bit after Nipissing closes. I'll have to refresh myself on the regs. But I'm thinking about doing it this year. Hopefully I make it happen. You want to see what it looks like outside there, Andrew? All right. No problem. I'm going to look out the window. Wow, there's some nice sun coming. You can see just past that sun, you got some darkness. And then to the south, there's definitely some darkness going on. Sun's quite the sight, though. I took some really great pictures on the way out here. It's one of those days where, because there's all that water on the lake, you definitely get some neat reflections with the sunlight and whatnot. I've seen it where there was like a foot of water on top of the ice. It was brutal. Yeah. All right. Yeah, with those, I don't know. I like stormy weather. I like seeing it. I like walking in it. But we'll see how it rolls. It looks less menacing than it did when I was coming in, but who knows? Who knows what's happening, you know? So I got a dead stick on the right here that has a live minnow on it. And on the left, I told you there, I got the vibrato going on. Saltwater smelt. Wow. Sounds like you got quite the setup there, New Carlisle. Sounds like you got quite the species of fish to work with there. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Richard, about Simcoe looking like it was open water. because to be honest with you, when I was walking down the road here and I saw a good patch in Nipissing that had very small waves on it, and I was like, oh boy. But I knew the ice was good because I was out yesterday, so I wasn't too worried about it. Just knew it was going to be a nuisance to walk through. Skunked every time at Bernard, eh, Gary? Do you talk to T-Rev, that guy? He's a main operator there. Ha 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 ha. And they're Monday for your first time, eh, Nick? Well, let me know how it pans out. Richard, sorry for the confusion there. Skunked again is your name on the Nipissing fishing board. Right on. That's funny, Richard. Did you catch much today there, Brad? Out on Simcoe, is that what you said? Yeah, I wonder, I heard there's some cold nights coming, so maybe some of this water on top will freeze up. I actually did a thing where I drilled a hole and the water started flowing out, like off the surface into the lake. It's pretty neat. Actually, there's a guy who runs a fish hut operation pretty close to here called Pat Primo's Ice Castles. I think I saw he posted. He's like, if you got water beside your hut, do this. And he drilled a hole beside his hut and the water started draining out. So I did that and it drained out like you said. Yeah, right under the water, it's just all ice there. At least it's not slush. I'd rather walk through 6 inches of water than 10 inches of slush, that's for sure. So Brad, in that 8 inches of ice on Simcoe, is it still like fairly high quality ice, or is it showing signs of breakdown? I guess, Brad, you don't get a good enough signal on the ice to watch live from the ice, watching live on the ice from the ice. Jeez. $20 degrees. Wow. Yeah, that's, I always say, talking about Nipissing, is it takes a good couple of weeks of warm weather to break the ice down on here. Like, it'll be here for a while, and probably even about, well, depending how warm it is, a lot of times, like 2 weeks after the ice fishing season closes, I still see people in the neighborhood here with their huts out. So the ice is in pretty good shape, even when it really starts warming up. It's probably like not until the beginning of May that it actually leaves the lake. Yeah, good idea with the spud. I've heard people talking about using like really long sticks, sort of like one of those balance beam walking type people, or whatever those guys are. Use a big long pole. In case the ice breaks, you sort of allows you to not fall right through. I don't know if anybody actually does that or if they just carry ice spikes So I know like the trout guys will keep fishing those trout lakes until that ice is like until you have to walk onto the ice with a like with a board to get you from the shore to the ice because there's like open water in between. So just going through the old tackle box here. It's getting a little chilly out here. Not too bad though. Nothing I can't handle. So I'm throwing on a Klacken wrap. Like I said, they just discontinued these ones. I kind of love the rattle in them. So I've got lots of stuff on this guy. Of course, I caught my doodad. Sorry, just gonna fix that. Okay, back in the game. Yeah, those Klacken wraps, I don't know why they quit using them, or quit making them, pardon me. I think they made like Klacken minnows and all this sort of stuff. But I think the biggest bass I ever caught in my life was on one of these Klacken wraps. It was a big SMB. Looks like we got a nice sunset coming in here. Just gonna take you over the window. Still going. Still got a bit of time before it's total sunset. Yeah, I imagine it sucks, Ken, quite a bit to get stuck out there on the ice in a snow machine. Like, do the ATVs handle certain things better out on the ice than snowmobiles do? Like snowmobiles, I imagine pure snow, they're the best on, and deeper snow. Whereas like ATVs, I imagine like slushy, maybe not slushy, but wet conditions, it handles better. I don't know. Wow, that wind's really going. Yeah, negative 17 will definitely put the clamp on some of this wet water, that's for sure. Sunday and Monday. Yeah, we'll see. You know, I think the time change occurs like quite soon, eh? In which case I think I might be able to squeeze one more fish off on the first, or on the last hours of sunlight on the closer on the 15th there. So Brad, down on Simcoe there, do they get like huge shanty towns of like, homemade ice huts, or are people really switching to the pop-ups and that kind of thing? Right on. I'll scope that out. New Carlisle. That sounds pretty awesome. Thanks for sending that to me. Anybody, I don't know if any of you guys, I'm sure most of you guys probably know I have a For Real Fishing Facebook page. So if you're on Facebook, just look it up. It's there. And I usually that's the first place I post everything. I believe Monday is the last day, Russell, to fish on Nipissing. I'd have to check the calendar again. If it's not then yeah, I'll have to check the calendar, to be honest with you. David Bennett, you made it. You made it in time for the halfway mark. So welcome to the party. This is the same one I've been using, although the last few weeks I've been using my flip hut more, Brad. But yeah, this hut is the same one. It's the same one as I had before. ATV's bottom out, huh? I know that the sleds to this permanent hut are like a little bit frozen into the ice, so I'm hoping that is keeping me in one place tonight. But if I start moving, that would probably be pretty sweet. Oh yeah. Yeah, David, it is super, super windy right now. An ice hut that can float, that sounds like something I've seen. It seems like a wise choice. It'd be also kind of a crazy way to fish if you're like, well, I don't have a boat, but I got this ice hut that can float, and then you sort of paddle it out somewhere and pretend you're fishing through an ice hole in the open water. So Brad, are a lot of the people who are fishing in the area you're fishing on Simcoe there, are they mostly locals, or do you get a lot of guys popping up from, I know that Simcoe sees a lot of traffic from Toronto. Pop-ups in Cooks Bay. Now, I usually only hear about people catching perch on Simcoe. Do they go for other panfish there as well? Off-grid wannabe. Is there usually quite a bit of ice on the Severn River? Okay. So Monday is the 15th. So yeah, I'll try to squeeze in the last hour. Last year, I remember my last day and the last hour, I didn't catch anything. And I was like, all right then. And I walked off the ice and I was like, see you next year, Nipissing. All right, let's see what we're going to throw down here. I'm going to throw on the slab grabber. Just going to throw it on bare with the bead at the moment. I'm thinking about getting on a rattle spoon with a nice juicy minnow on there. It's like I do have the dead stick on one side, so I got live bait covered halfway. Yeah, I feel that there. LT Sam, walleye season's closing. I always think to myself, like, all right, now I'm gonna go fishing for trout. You know? But you know what? For me, because I can just walk out on the lake, like this kind of fishing is really, I've just come to really enjoy it. Don't have to go far. If I have a spare minute, I can get out here. It's a charm of living on the lake. But when I go to any of the trout lakes, it's always a case where, I gotta drive half a decent distance. And I've yet to have a lot of luck with fishing for trout through the ice. Yeah, I bet, Brad, it seems like every so often I see a story about people stranded out there on the ice, so I'm sure they're in a rush to get people's huts in as soon as they can. Yeah, we definitely have. Oh, I think I see a fish on my radar here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I switched hands. That's how you know it's serious. Come on, bite it. He's taking a good look at it. Come on. Come on. What kind of fish do you think it is? I'm sure you guys can't see the screen too clearly. Oh, I think he's just sitting right on the bottom. Let's give him a little show here. Well, fish came and left. Maybe, hopefully he's going to my dead stick. Shantoon boat. I like the sound of that. I just might look into that as soon as I get home. That's awesome. I will check that out. Oh, are we gonna bite this time? Just bite it. Just bite it. I know you want it. Bite the damn lure. What do I gotta do here? The fish is there. He's watching my lure. Don't make me set the hook with my left hand. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work the dead stick a little bit in case he's looking for that fresh minnow vibe. Because he left the other bait. It would be nice to actually catch something today, eh? Come on, no, he's there. Likes looking at it. Likes looking at the bait. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna reel up that bait. I'm gonna fire on a chunk of a minnow in a hurry, and hopefully that fish comes back and I catch him. Okay, I got a minnow head on there. I think I'm gonna have to turn on the lights in here. Things got sort of crazy on here. Yeah, if I start flying away, I imagine there's a few things in this hut that might rough me up a bit if it starts rolling across the ice. But I think it might be pretty exciting for a bit. People catch crappie on the ice, huh? I joined some crappie appreciation group on Facebook there, and everybody's like, they're like, please share your favorite crappie recipes. And then everybody's like, crappie tacos, crappie pizza, and I just couldn't stop myself from laughing. It was just too funny. Because of course, crappie's your fish, but, when you think about it the other way, like, oh, I had a real crappie taco the other day. It's like, sure, as soon as I get a real minnow on there, this fish disappears on me. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people I talk to, they're always like, they're like, crappie, I got a spot. I've never really fished for them, but I've caught a few by accident, but I always thought they're pretty nifty fish, for sure. So I would go fishing for them if I ever had a chance. I'm just going to try to turn on some lights in here because it's getting a little dim. Okay, got some lights going on. Trying to make it look realistic in here, Yeah, I've heard a lot of those rhymes. They're Brad. East they bite the least, west they bite the best. I'd always wondered about north and south. I always said, yeah, if the fish or the wind's coming from the north, then the fish are going back and forth. South puts the bait in the mouth, though. I'll have to start thinking about that one. JM, I hear you on that one. I've had some last minute, last day banger seasons. It's like, oh, the rest of the season was kind of okay, but this one day, the last day, and I remember one day I was out there in the rain, my pop-up hut, which was like a hub style. The anchors were starting to pop up, so I had to keep putting them back in. And there was nothing on top of the skirt because, of course, it was all wet. So the wind was just blowing and blowing the water like inside the hut. There's nothing you could do. And then it was just like bam, bam, bam. I probably caught, I think, about 8, like 17 and 18-inch fish in like half an hour. Couldn't believe it. It was great. Those are the moments when, you know, the sucky moments where you catch nothing, you know, seem like just a part of the game. Because sometimes you get a whole bunch coming in and you're like, wow, that was a great day. And some days the days totally suck. So, you know how it works. You know what I'm getting at. Where do you think you're gonna go? Where do you think you're gonna go, Skibbins, for your last hard water whole hop? Hey, you know what? I believe the minnow's still relatively fresh on there, but I might want to change it, or at least take a peek at it. I had a fairly light weight on there, but the wind's really, I think the minnow's still, I don't know if you guys can really see it shaking, but I think there's the wind that's blowing it a bit, and I think the minnow is sort of like pulling it up and down a little bit. Yes, this wind is pretty wild. I've been out here a few times where it feels like the roof's about to fly off. Yeah, Jason, the wind is wild as can be out here. Yeah, I hear you there, Andrew. Sometimes I've had dead sticks where they just, like, they really will hammer that without much activity whatsoever. And then sometimes the dead stick's sitting there and then you move it just a little bit and then boom, fish on. I don't think the LEDs are turning different colors, are they? I mean, there's 3 different colored LEDs, but they do flash different colors on certain settings. They go through all the colors of the rainbow, which doesn't really work for ice fishing, but other kinds of days, sure. I appreciate all the likes on this video. I'm always curious about the people who watch after the live stream, because these videos get most of the views after it's live, strangely enough. You know, LT Sam, Thunder Mist Lures, I love that guy, Evo. I've been watching his channel for so long, and I am so hyped that he's got like a growing following, because I think he's just got like a great attitude about fishing, and he provides great information. He's just like a real easy to like guy, you know? But I do not own any of his lures. I should look into that. He's always like, you know, Ivo Koya from the Thunder Mist Lure Co. But I just have not even looked at his lures. I should. We're allowed to fish until the 15th, Jason. Severe thunderstorms. Boy, I tell you, David, I love seeing severe thunderstorms. I think it's awesome to watch. I look forward to that in the summer. I look forward to that indeed. I'll be watching that video, Skibbins, if you do make a video about you fishing for perch on Nipissing. David, welcome to the party. So far on my Striker 4, we've seen one fish come in, look at my lure, and leave. On the dead stick, we haven't seen much action, but we've been trying to make sure it stays lively. There's a heck of a wind out there. That's okay. Try to move this closer to you guys. I don't get why it's like foggy. It seems like there's kind of a mist around my unit here. Let me see if I can fix that. Sometimes I think the Striker 4 has some sort of like automatic brightness adjustment. Like it decides it's too dark, so it decides it's going to adjust. Because it just went to full 100% there. 100% brightness. Yeah, going back to work. I have that problem too. Going back to work every week, you know. I'm like, back to work, and I have to stop fishing. But I think I still try to squeeze a little bit of fishing in there when I can on my work days if I have a bit of time. Yeah, I actually caught not half decent. Whoa. I definitely caught, sorry, I thought I saw something on the radar there. Probably a 2-3 pound pike the other day. Give me a good run. I have it on like GoPro, but I wasn't filming anything. Yeah, Russell, the 15th is the last day. The second it turns to the 16th, season is over. Thank you for the like button hitters. You know what? I found, Russell, as of late, that on my underwater camera, I was actually seeing a lot more than I have been able to see in the last few weeks before that. That's awesome, Nathan. Great Adirondack Park, huh? South in Ohio, eh? I don't know if this may seem like a strange question, but have you ever heard of the Ohio Grassman? You know what, Off-Grid Wannabe, I actually did make my own lure brand at one point, and then I never really got around to releasing it in any kind of serious way, but it was pretty funny. I should get around to it again. I did make some for-real fishing like lures as of late that were like professionally made, but when I was doing my own lure brand thing, it was like me taking lures and like buying blanks and stuff like that and painting them crazy colors. It was sweet. No rain yet here at all yet. We'll see. Sure, it looks a bit outside. It might be coming. This particular hut has a tin roof, so I guess when it starts buzzing, I'll know it's raining out there. Yeah, Chad's right. Skivens, you should live stream the finale. I don't know if that's up your alley or not. How long did it take you to get your Ford F-150 unstuck on Nipissing, Skivens? Yeah, I don't mind walking through the rain. I mean, I should have brought my raincoat. I guess I did a silly thing there. All right, Gary. Challenge accepted, buddy. I'm willing to get a 15-inch fish right now to top your 14-inch fish. Let's see what I can do. So, Brad, you've been off for a year. You provide transportation service. Travelers going to the airport. How do you like that job? When I was in Toronto, I used to try to do stream fishing for the steelhead. It was pretty fun. I'm not sure where the like button is from your end. I mean, I can see it on my screen, but that's awesome. So you live half hour from Salt Fork Lake, where the History Channel did that Grassman thing. That's awesome. So did you before the History Channel did that Monster Quest thing, had you heard about the Grassman? And the next question, of course, is have you seen the Grassman yourself? What are we going to throw on now? Throw down a rattle bait for a few minutes here. I hate getting my truck stuck places. I got truck stuck down Riding Stables Road once out this way, and I'd paid a lot of money to get out of there. It sucks. I'm a lot more prepared these days than I was then. Yeah, I thought about doing those lures again. I might just do that. Well, that sucks pretty hard there, Skivens. I figured you were way out on the lake in some sweet ass fishing spot and maybe you got stuck there. But to get stuck in the parking lot, that's an extra burn. Yeah, I think you're right, David Bennett. I think they would sell better if I was slaying the fish. David, I was thinking of you today. I was cooking some chicken wings, and then I guess what happened was I looked at them and I'm like, oh, they're just about perfectly done. And then I looked at them another 5 minutes later, and they were like chicken jerky. So I was looking at those chicken wings and I was like, this chicken's pretty dry. Maybe I should try feeding it to my minnows, you know? Yeah, you know what? David Bennett, he just gave away the secret. I don't know if this is going to be a 2-hour special, but I've been told that the fish are going to bite at 7. So what am I going to do? Close this session? No. I'm going to keep fishing to 7. And we're going to see if they do bite at 7. So we got what? 20 minutes? 20 minutes before they're gonna bite. So I might not go 2 hours, but I'm gonna get a little longer in today. A dead pike. It's like that story of Italo and Henry is, you know, I don't know if I know all the details of it, but it seems like it's a thing of legend. So Brad, what's keeping you out of work? Did you have a injury or something like that? You know what's kind of funny is that the lure company that I had made was called, and I don't know, I think I closed everything down, but it was called the Cryptoid Lure Company, and all of the different lures were named after different different cryptids, as they call them. And one of the lures was actually called the Ohio Grassman, and it was a spoon that was painted brown with the Sasquatch face on it. I'm gonna say people are still parking at Sunset Point, but I'm not gonna say. Or I'm not. I can't say for sure is what I meant to say. When I was making lures, I was making spoons. I was making spoons because I could get the blanks, and they were easy to paint to some extent. Yeah, on my Cryptoid lures, it's been a few years since I even thought about them, actually. I had this crazy hook setup that had this, what was it? It was like this tinsel tassel. It was it was a spoon, but it was like, really done up nice. Caught a good couple of pike on those. Nothing huge, but a lot of little guys. That'd be pretty funny. My face on a spinner. I think it is time to change my lures there, LT Sam, and I think a jig and rappel is a great idea. So I'm just poking around in my tackle box here, finding my favorite jig and wrap. So when you guys show up at a fishing spot, what's the first lure you throw? I almost always will throw a rattle bait, like a lipless crankbait that rattles, or next one up would be a Next one up would be the vibrato. Although if the vibrato was already on my line, I would use that. You know, funny thing, last ditch lure I like to use for ice fishing is a Panther Martin spinner. Probably seems, not regular, but I do find that when you jig it, it makes the spinner spin. Of course, the fish like that, All right, so I'm throwing down one of these fancier style jigging wraps. I'm not sure the exact, probably says right on it. This one's called the Snap Wrap. So it's jigging wrap style. I got a minnow tail on there, fresh minnow. Throwing it down. I think I found, for the amount of snow, Andrew Koss this year, I don't think it was as bad as other years. I think it was a little bit better. Or maybe pretty much the same. So that's the scoop, right, Russell? Bass out of season. I should have thought of that, Brad. That makes total sense. COVID would definitely put a strain on that line of work. That's for sure. Stick around to 8. Well, I said to my wife, I'm like, this is the last live stream. Can I stay out past 7 when they said the fish biting? Just because, the boy takes a lot of work and I enjoy helping out, making sure I'm helping with everything. So I don't want to leave it all up to my wife, Yeah, I have definitely watched both those guys in fishing shows since then. I'm glad it didn't necessarily totally stop, because I've seen lots of great Italo videos, but I guess you got to be not silly and not break the rules. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. My friend, a guy who lives in Montreal, who's not a fisherman at all, has been watching my my live streams. Not while they're live, but like later. He just told me this today. He's like, it feels like we're hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, I think that is sort of the charm of these live streams. It is just hanging out with the Coke machine. Graph I'm using there is the Striker 4. That's a good one, Brad. I don't want to let you down there, Richard, but no fish. No fish. There was a fish on my radar once that looked at my bait and then swam away. We switched lures now, though. We're on to a jig and wrap style lure called the... I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name of this lure. It's a something wrap, I can tell you that much. Snap and wrap? I think that's it, yeah. Gold hammered wobble weights. I'm not sure if I know. I don't know if I have heard of these things. Gonna have to look into them. Wobble rights, pardon me. I'm gonna have to look into them. You know, David Bennett, I'd love to squeeze in one more. If I was, and I'm not saying I can, but if I am going to, it would be something like a relatively unannounced thing that you'd have to just catch. Because I might just be like, well, it's the last day. Boom, live. But I can't say I can necessarily plan to have things set up. Like, definitely, I've worked my way into having Thursday night as the live on the ice night. But like squeezing in a whole pre-scheduled event for the end of the season might put me in trouble. So we'll see. You know, we'll see. I still have lots of data, but just keep your eyes open if you have your notification bell. If you have that clicked, then that should tell you when I'm live. You just got to be ready to drop whatever you're doing and watch a live broadcast, impromptu. Jigging a minnow or jigging a worm. Rob Hyatt there, who used to run his ice operation, he used to take me and one of the guys I supported fishing every once in a while, and he always swore by a white jig head and a blob of worms. In the wintertime, a white jig head and a minnow. Yeah, Panther Martin spinner. I know it sounds a little unorthodox. There's no denying that. But when you jig it, it actually spins in the same way that it would if you were retrieving it for, 2 feet or whatever your jigging distance is. And as well, you can jig it super lightly and the blade will tap against the weight of the Panther Martin, so you could get some real subtle action in with that. I've had nights when that was the only thing that caught me anything. Do you have a big problem with coyotes there, JM? Sorry, it's getting real intense outside of the hut. If I'm talking really loud, that's why. Yeah, this hut feels like it's gonna blow away. I've got faith. I got faith. I have tried the Acme Hyper Glide. I got one that glows in the dark. Yeah, Outdoor Dave, I'm looking forward to the next season. It seems like people were really, really hyped before the season was about to start. And you know, that was around the time when I dropped the I Cook with Ice track, and people were hyping hard. And then it was like lockdown, and then and then it sucked. It sucked for everybody. But at least we got to do these live streams, you know. But yeah, I missed a lot of people this year seeing, or that I would normally see every year. Thanks a lot, Lawrence. I appreciate the good words, buddy. I'll be continuing on with some things. I'm actually working on an animation. So if I go quiet for a while, it's because I'm working really hard on something that's hopefully pretty funny. It's all about mice and going to a fishing camp where mice were in extreme numbers. Yeah, we're just about ready for the 7 o'clock bite, from what I hear. You know, Brad, as far as softwater content is concerned, I can't guarantee anything, but maybe I'm going to try to go for some, you know, ice out trout. We'll see if I can pull one of those off. Maybe go for splake or whatever. That's usually the only time of year I've had luck with splake. And don't forget to hit the like button out there, guys. If you're not, it's appreciated. As well as softwater season as soon as Nipissing opens up again. If I can, you know, it's got to work with how the lake is going to work. But I'll definitely, the springtime when the season first opens up is when you get a lot of the walleye close to shore. So if the weather's good, I'll be out in the canoe trying to get those guys. And if the weather's bad, maybe I'll be casting from the shore. I actually made a whole video of me casting from the shore last year that I never released. I sometimes do that. Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Dave Austin. It's been an interesting game doing this live stream stuff. Yeah, you know, my wife just sent me a message that said, like, if I wanted to stay a little bit longer that I could. So here's what's gonna happen though. I gotta go outside and take a whiz, to be honest with you guys. And I gotta go step into that shit out there. And, well, watch my rod for me, will you? I'll be back. Actually, you can watch my radar. I'll be back. Oh, shit. What's kind of funny about that, everybody, is that I had my mic on outside, so you guys probably heard some pretty extreme wind going down. So, sorry about that. And that felt like the longest whiz in history, especially when the wind's really blowing on you. Yeah, walking in this, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This wind, like actually it sounds really bad inside the hut, but when I was outside, to be honest with you, I thought the wind was going to blow, my whiz all over myself. But it wasn't as bad as I expected. So I'd imagine even walking out there, I might get the water splashing up on me because the wind's so hard, but I don't know. We'll see. I bet you that wind, Andrew, really shakes that ice more than I would think. It probably does a lot to stir things up. Probably there's like cracking and popping going on. Yeah, you know what? I might do LT Sam in the spring. We'll see. Once the season opens up on Nipissing again. I might just set up on the shore with the camera and do some casting and whatnot. Live stream style. I don't know if I'll be able to do it and read messages at the same time. But who knows? Maybe I can figure something out. So Russell, do you have like a flip hut or a hub hut? Pardon me if I asked this before. Skivens, that's a good one, buddy. I like that. There's one guy who made a comment on my Cook with Ice video, and he said, or maybe it was on one of my live streams. He was like, I cooked with ice last night and I got worms. That one made me laugh pretty hard. Yeah, I've got a buddy who he lives in the Creemore area there, and he traps the coyotes down there. Coyotes, they're a real problem down in the south, let me tell you. Up here I see them every once in a while, but definitely there's lots of coyotes down there. Whoop. Sorry guys, I gotta get on my headlamp here. Yeah, my brother keeps saying to me, like, okay, come on to Sudbury. He only lives in Sudbury, right? So it's not too far away. He's like, come on down, we'll go lake trout fishing this week. Then all of a sudden, Sudbury's on friggin' lockdown like we used to be here in North Bay. And I'm like, great. Every time I try to make a plan with my brother to go up, get some stuff, lockdown. That's the way it's been for me, All right, so I got my crazy headlamp on, so the lighting's going to be a little peculiar, as you can see. Try to keep it minimal. I'm not sure what the best look is, really. So far, it seems like I'm sitting out in this crazy wind to catch the same amount of fish as last week, where I caught nothing. appreciate the good words, Richard. It's I think we all been hurting with this COVID crap, and you know, it's one thing I could do. One thing I could do to try to help the other people who are having their trips canceled and stuff like that was get out here on the lake. You know, I can't say that where I've been fishing is the hottest fishing spots. I mean, I've been to better places. I've also caught lots of fish in the areas I have been fishing in previous years. This year, not nearly as much. Of course, I haven't nearly fished as much. But, you know, I guess maybe I got to get myself a snowmobile and go out to where the fish are. But so far, fishing out here is close. It's an easy walk. So that's why I've been out here instead of going any further. But you know what? Like every year when I do the ice reports, a lot of the different ice hut operators invite me out to their different establishments. So probably in the future, maybe next year, I'll be able to set something up where I go out to different people's operations and they can put me on some fish. Maybe you guys can see me catch some more fish. Sometimes it's good out here and sometimes it's not. And the thing with live streams is that you can't really edit out the part where you don't catch fish. See, every week I think to myself, like, all right, I'm going to put together the video that features the Coke Machine story. And then I'm like, yeah, I better make it its own video and not just drop it in a live stream. And the thing is, it's not that crazy of a story, really. But, you know, people are curious enough. So I will be coming out with that video. That'll be the next video I do. Well, I can't guarantee that. The next video, it'll be up there in the videos I do in the near future. Because I won't have a lot of stuff to do. I don't know if I saw a mark or if it's just my lure there, Skibbins. Maybe I missed something though. There is also a reflection of my light that's making a lot of... Yeah, I did manage to pull that whiz off without whizzing on myself. As far as what I could see. Yes, Givens, actually the microphone I'm using that goes along with this that I have plugged into my phone is called the Rode Wireless Go, and it's an external microphone and receiver. And it's got a dead cat muffler on it to keep the wind sounds down. So that's probably why it was so loud when I was outside. Thanks for clearing my prostate there, Chad. Chad. I knew a guy named Chet Ritchie. Sorry. I hope you didn't hear me whizzing. It's funny because I'm going through these comments and this is... You guys. For the last while, I have been taking the little guy out ice fishing a lot. I got some great videos of him fishing. Like, he comes out and he basically wants me to change the lure every like 30 seconds. And he jigs the rod for a bit, but then he wants me to jig it. But mostly he had a lot of fun taking the pliers and pretending he was drilling through the ice. So it was pretty fun to watch him do that. Then he was also throwing ice chunks into the ice hole. Wow. It's really humming out there. All I gotta say about these fish here is WTF. I caught 2 perch yesterday, and that was kind of a slow day. And then this is super slow. Yeah, usually wind like this, Russell, only lasts for a day, because this is kind of extreme. I'm sure I have enough time to tell you the story, Brad, but I'm gonna hold off just for another moment. Come on, fish. You know, coconut beer. You know, Brad, funny thing, my brother was like, that's when he was suggesting I go ice fishing, because he knew the live broadcast would be over. He was like, hey, come ice fishing and go for lake trout. Thing is, for a lot of places around here, you can't get a great signal on the Wi-Fi in a lot of these back lakes. Good thing where I am right now is that I got a good signal. So I wouldn't know for sure if I could live broadcast if we were going lake trout fishing. And then, like I said, it was a total shutdown. Sudbury is going into lockdown because of the COVID variant. Something like that. You know, I've always found the very end of the season that sometimes the fish can really be on. Yeah, unfortunately, for where I am, Struckus, the wind will be blowing me parallel to the shore and not into the shore. I've walked through some crazy stuff out there. One time, I probably told this story already, but one time I had my pop-up, my big pop-up black hut, and I was fishing with my buddies, and we left it out. It was all anchored in as hard as it could. Like, all the anchors were set up. And then what happened was it rained and rained and rained and rained. And then I got up in the morning and I walked out to it and I put all the anchors back in. And I walked back in and my buddies went home. And then when I was like, okay, I got to try to get this thing. And the wind went up to like 90K. It was extreme. And then there was a foot of water on top of the ice. And I went to go walking out there. And it, like, here's a little side note. It was a foot of water on top of the ice, and about an inch of that had frozen on the top. So here I was just, like, stomping through this, like, foot of water with an inch of ice. and then the wind was just blowing me over, and I was gonna fall over right into that water on top of the ice. And I knew that would be pretty much as bad as actually falling like into the lake. So I had to turn around, sit on shore, and then my big black ice hut just blew right off of its spot. Just, and I couldn't do anything except sit there and watch it blow away. Luckily, it didn't go too far. I did actually get it. It was probably flew about 200 yards and then got into a big pile of itself. And then I managed to recollect it. And it wasn't too beat up. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as I expected. Yeah, there's a few places where the Lakers are open year-round. I think even where my brother is, the season is really long. Whereas up this way, it seems like the Lakers season is like February 15th to March 15th. So you had good luck with the purchase at Sunset, eh? That's where they all have been hiding out, I guess, because I've had some banger years out here, and I've probably caught less than 10 perch out this way this year. So what gives? I know, like I say, I haven't been fishing nearly as much as I was able to in the past. So I think I'm gonna keep this going to 7:30, and then I'm gonna try to walk through this crop. Cause I'm getting a bit hungry myself. Yeah, you know what? I've seen some. That's funny that Billy Bob's calls it Perch Alley. You know, maybe a guy might have to sneak over there, you know, on the weekend or something, and try to sneak out to Perch Alley. I think I have some friends who have a hut out that way. Perch are biting, I wouldn't mind a good day of perching. I hate to leave my own area because it's so sweet to be able to walk out here and catch fish. But this year has been so kind of slow that I'm starting to consider trying somewhere else. Yeah, Junior doesn't necessarily sleep super early these days. I'm sure he'll be wide awake when I walk in there. He's been going fishing with me so much over the last couple of days that when he saw me leaving without him, he was quite upset about it. Yeah, I can't say the fishing has been great here off grid wannabe. 2 weeks of skunk is not good. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I feel it, man. When there's no fish biting, know, it sucks. It sucks to make a 2 hour long video. 2 hour long video of catching nothing. This hunt in the beginning of the season was pretty good. And like I said, my plan was to go further out. And then, well, you know, there's a crazy storm outside, so here I am. You know, it would be awesome if I get out like another day on this weekend. I get out with the boy maybe, and then we start getting into the perch hard. And then I just fire on the live stream and just start streaming. We'll see. That's a funny story, Brad. Yeah, I know Owen definitely likes playing with the minnows. My wife decided to give him a dead minnow the other day. Oh man, like, let me tell you guys a little story about minnows and what happened to my last batch of minnows. So here's the scoop. Got fresh batch of minnows. Handed them to my son, who was in his baby seat. He looked at the minnows all the way home. Then, when we got to the house, I went to put the minnows in the fridge, and somehow he had poked a small hole in the minnow bag, and there was water shooting all over my fridge. And then as I went to pull it out of the fridge, I knocked a yogurt container out of the fridge, and then the yogurt container blew up on the floor. And I took the minnows, put them in a Tupperware, and then I went to take the yogurt container and like rinse it off and whatnot, and then it dropped a big blob of yogurt into the minnow bag. Okay, so I was like, oh crap. So I sifted all the minnows out, and then I put the minnows back into the Tupperware container, and then I'm like, okay, I caught that yogurt blob before it like poisoned the minnows, right? And so then, so then I went to put fresh water in with the minnows, and I turned on the top. Next thing I know, I look back and all the minnows are floating on the surface. So I'm like, WTF is going on? And it turned out I had put hot water into the tank, or into the Tupperware container with the minnows, and I basically cooked them, and they were all dead. So that's what happened to my last bunch of minnows. Then I got some fresh minnows today. So yeah, it is time for trout fishing, but there is still a couple days left in this season. I will probably be out. I'm sure it won't be hard to convince my son to go fishing a couple more times. So I will try to get out a couple more times before the season is done here. I'm kind of getting a little scared about walking out into this. So, you know, it'd be nice if a big fat lane cruised in right now. Yeah. I wasn't thinking. Hot water kills minnows fast. I can tell you that. They didn't spend a lot of time suffering. Anyway, I put them right into the salt after that. Yeah, things are going down outside, that's for sure. I don't see any rain or anything on the windows. Sorry about that, everybody. Looks like this thing went offline for a second. It took a while to get back up. Dave Bell, North Shore. JM, species 8472. Yeah, sorry, everything cut out there for a second. You know, when I first started doing these streams, the friggin' when I first started doing streams, it seemed like the signal cut out a whole heck of a lot more. Anyway, so guys, like, it looks like it's 7:30, like I said. So I guess I said that was it. So there we go. We almost made it to 2 hours. Sorry, Struckus, are you talking about when you say your username is your name? Are we talking about the same board? Are we talking about the Lake Nipissing Outdoors board, or are we talking about the Facebook board? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, the other board, the one I'm usually talking about is the Lake Nipissing ice fishing board, which is it's like the Lake Simcoe Outdoors board. Different LakeSimcoeOutdoors.com. Anyway, no, there's definitely like a board that's completely separate from Lake Nipissing the Lake Nipissing board on Facebook. Yeah, you know, I will be around, and although I don't make nearly as many videos as I do during the ice fishing season, I will definitely be making some videos. I remember in years past, I made videos about camping and stuff like that. So we'll see what's up in the mix. You know, I just got to make sure I don't take too long of a break, because sometimes the longer you take a break, the longer the break gets, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll definitely be camping and fishing and stuff like that, and hopefully I'll get out for some trout when the ice starts coming off, or maybe even before the ice starts coming off. You know, it's been sweet doing these live streams. You know, at first I was kind of like, what is the appeal of this? But then as time went on, I realized it's like hanging out with a whole bunch of people and getting your fish on and that kind of thing, and chatting about fishing. And you know, I always wondered why people would watch these, especially in their entirety after the live stream. But actually, you know, I heard one guy tell me that he fires on these live streams to help him go to sleep. You know, he just fires them on, listens to me blab and chat with you guys, and that puts things all right with the world, and, and he gets some shut-eye. So that's awesome. Yeah, you know what? Like, before I started doing stuff on Facebook, a lot of it was through the Lake Nipissing Outdoors board, the Lake Simcoe Outdoors board. There's a whole crew of guys there, and it's definitely separate from the Facebook group. Yeah, Brad, if you look up For Real Fishing on Facebook, you'll find it there. You'll find the Coke Machine For Real Fishing page. Yeah. Right on. So yeah, it sucks to turn off the camera now. It seems like this has been a part of the regular Thursday game, and it's been a neat way to spend the season. So anyway, 8 p.m. sharp. Yeah. Yeah, Ken, you're right. On the nip board without the Southern guys, that board was my home base for the longest time, and then people started watching from Facebook more. But it's a great board to check out. There's some great dudes on there. Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate everybody showing up and commenting. It'd be funny. And I never had this problem throughout any of these live streams, but it would be funny to have a live stream and have nobody chatting with you at the same time. But every single one, you guys have all been there chatting back, and that's really fun. John, you're coming right in for the end of the show. And no fish, buddy. There was a fish that showed up on the radar, and then it left. Yeah, you know what? I'm always worried with the chats that I'm missing everybody's messages, because it is all over my phone, so it's kind of a small screen and sometimes difficult to keep track. But I think I've gotten better at it than I was in the beginning. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to do, as the spring comes in, I'll try to do some live streams that is like from the shore with me casting or something like that. But like I said, I might not be able to like chat with people, but we'll see what I can do. We'll be creative with it. Yeah, welcome to the Nip Board, Skivens. Yeah, I thought about that. Somebody suggested to me that I should have big screens, like a separate screen. That would actually be handy, because when I scroll through the video, or pardon me, the messages, it always moves the camera just a little bit. You can see it. Yeah. Well, definitely when it comes down to like sitting in a boat, I might be doing some still fishing, get the old camera going, live chat. Yeah, we'll be cooking with ice for the last couple of days, and we'll be cooking with ice next year, that's for sure. We'll be cooking with ice harder than we were this year. That is for certain. I don't have any sponsors yet, per se. I thought a lot about the tablet and doing the hotspot. I'm gonna look into it a little more. That's an interesting idea, Dave Bell. Yeah, you're right, Jamie. It is fishing with buddies is the best, and it's always fun when you have up to 40 buddies fishing with you at once. All right. I'm going to wish you guys all a great night. And it's been swell. And like I said, there may be surprise live streams over the next couple of days. Keep your eyes peeled. get onto that notification bell. I think that's how you do it. And then I'm waiting for the wind to subside, Brad, but I don't want to leave because I love fishing. But I better do it. All right, Dave Bell, I'm going to look into that. Have yourselves a great night. And we'll talk to you guys soon. It won't be too long. See you later.